I'm here in Dallas at the largest half-price bookstore in all of Texas. It might be the largest half-price books in the United States, but I'm not 100% sure. But this is the flagship location. We were already in town for a convention, so I convinced Anthony to come over here and check it out. It's so loud. Dang it, it's just like, there's so much here. Movies. Anthony's gonna get excited about this. There's so many DVDs. This is insane how big this half-price books is. I've never seen a half-price books this big, obviously. I mean, like, this is the biggest for a reason, but still. So there's a lot of noise, and I was trying to figure out what it was, and I think there's an author signing over there. I don't know which author yet, I couldn't see, but I guess we can go walk by it and see if we can see. It's Annabelle Monaghan. She wrote Summer Romance, which that's a book I haven't read yet, but I have been seeing that kind of making the rounds for summer romance books. Funnily enough, it's called Summer Romance, but she's here, so that's cool. So I just found Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino. I really like this movie, and I remember that he actually did write a book about it. Not about it, but like it's in book form. And I heard that, this is a rumor, so I don't know if it's true, but when he's done making movies, he might start writing books, which would be really, really awesome. He's a great storyteller. I hope he does that. He writes some of the absolute best dialogue for characters. Love it. This place is so freaking big. I got distracted by the author signing over there. I feel like I haven't fully taken everything in. There's so many little nooks and crannies. A huge fiction section, which I love fiction, so I'm really excited. But I haven't been able to like focus on anything because there's just so much. So I need to just look at the books, but also try to take in my surroundings. It's overwhelming, but in a good way. I mean, like, who wouldn't want to be overwhelmed by a massive bookstore? You're about to come with me on a journey to see just how many rows of fiction books there are here. I should have counted, I didn't count, but look, there's so many. We're still going. Still going. Fiction. This is all fiction, this whole side, and I think there might be more. But this is crazy. There's nobody here, so we kind of have it to ourselves. I mean, they're all probably at the book signing, but I feel like this would be such a great place to come and just look at books for a long time and feel that kind of cozy bookstore atmosphere. Like, look how big this bookstore is. This is not even the half of it. And we're not even done. There's still more fiction down this way. I still haven't even looked at the books. I need to look at the books. Okay, we're coming up on people, so let's be quiet. Something unique about this half-price books that I've noticed is there's a lot of little tables everywhere that kind of remind me of a library where people are sitting, reading books, studying. That's not something you typically see at other half-price books. So it seems like a place that they kind of encourage you to come and read and study, I would assume. Don't take my word for it. I'm not half-price books. See? Look at all these little tables, and there's a book already here. I don't know who put this here, but that was nice. But it is nice that there's like little areas. There's tons of little spaces like this, little chairs, tables. It's nice how wide open it is here, and just endless shelves of books. And some of the shelves have little nooks that you go into it. So there's lots to look at. Push my chair back in. They also have a massive kids section, and it's called Half Pint Books, which is so freaking cute. There's even like a little house back there and a tree. It says Chupacabra. Like Chupacabra. That's cute. Look at the picture. That's fun. Now I'm feeling un poquito sickly. I've been looking for a DVD of Treasure Planet, the movie Treasure Planet, and I've been trying to find it at Half Price Books, and I haven't found it yet. But I wonder if they would have it here at this one, because they have tons of DVDs and movies here. Tangled? I feel like it's not here. Wouldn't it be by the T's? Oh, look. Gosh, I equally hate the book and the movie of this. I'm sorry. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, all you City of Bones lovers. I did not like it. Something else really cool about this place is, you know, at Half Price Books normally you can find like a cool find, or like, ooh, I found this movie there. But this one, they have so many different copies of a lot of different things. Like, look at how many Finding Nemos they have. Cinderella, The Incredibles. Look at the amount of Harry Potter that we have here. Anthony just found a really funny find here.
They have Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire in HD DVD, which is a funny find because if you're not aware of what HD DVD is, this kind of came out around the exact same time that Blu-ray came out, and it was kind of a competition for what was going to be successful, and HD DVD failed. Blu-ray took off. Blu-ray ended up being in like Xboxes and PlayStations and whatnot, probably why it was so successful, and then it just kind of fell off into the wayside. It's kind of like VHS, Betamax, that might be even older, but like one usually is successful, and it's funny to find one randomly here. I haven't seen this in so long. They had like the red on the top of the disc or the case instead of the blue. Don't have an HD DVD player, but funny.
No luck on the Treasure Planet, but they do have a lot of different DVDs here, which is really cool. I still haven't even looked at the books yet. I've just been walking around like aimlessly, like staring in wonder at everything. So I need to go look at the books. The young adult section is right over there. So maybe we can find some cool YA fantasy or something like that. Let's go check it out. Young adult. But this is like young adult. Older young adult. Oh, here we go. Okay. Twilight, of course, a staple. The Selection series, one that I have not checked out yet, but I've heard a lot of people really love this one. And it's like kind of a staple YA fantasy series. So I don't know if this happens at every Half Price Books, but in this one, the YA section is divided into like young adult and teen fiction, which is kind of cool because if you're like me and you prefer kind of the older YA, you could find it in the teen fiction section. I have the first book in this series and I haven't read it yet, but this is the second book. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not buying the second one when I haven't even read the first one. Not this time at least. I'll probably do it again later. So I just saw this book right here. It's behind a glass. There's a lot actually in here. It's $600 for this book. I don't know which one it is. Oh. The Grand Bazaar, Istanbul. Something really cool about Half Price Books is they have a lot of kind of collectible editions or special editions of books. A lot of times they're kept behind glass, but they tend to be a little bit pricier, but they're also the special edition. So that's something cool that you can find at used bookstores versus new bookstores a lot of the times, if you're into that kind of stuff. These books look so old and they're just out. That's interesting. Like Shakespeare. I wonder how much they are. I don't want to touch them necessarily, but here's like a price. $20 for this one. This one's $10. These look like they'd be on the shelves of Hogwarts or something like that. It is kind of cool to see like old books, very aesthetically pleasing. So here's an example of like these kind of collectible special edition, more expensive books. But also over here I found these are all signed editions or first editions. Very popular one. I have not read it. This is a signed copy though for $25. It's a signed first edition. So if you missed out on a first edition, you know, some people really get into collecting books and like the different editions and things like that. And that's, you know, kind of a hobby in and of itself as much as reading is. So I feel like if you were really into that and like cared about different editions and wanted signed copies of your favorite books or just whatever, this would be a really cool place to come and find signed copies of things. I saw sprayed edges and now I must investigate. These are the new books though. Like, I mean, I'm at a used bookstore and looking at the new books, but Half Price Books does have a slight discount on new books too. I don't think it's as much of a discount as Costco. Little pro tip, but Costco doesn't have as big of a selection. But look how pretty! We also had to come check out the anime section. Anthony's in the zone. There's manga over there too. So the manga and anime section was actually kind of small. I feel like our Half Price Books, like the ones in our area, have more of an anime and manga section. I feel like a lot of it depends on who shops there and like the customer base they have. This one has a huge fiction section and just like books in general. Also a huge DVD section. But yeah, the manga and anime was quite small. It was still there, but not that big. Maybe there's just not enough weebs here yet. We have finally found the romance section and I can't wait to go see what's here. It looks like there's like they're not shelves because they're like corridors. There's like 4 corridors dedicated just for romance. Oh my gosh. Mass market paperbacks. I have an affinity for these little mass market paperbacks, romance books, and eventually I want a big collection of them. Of ones I've read, of course, but a big collection nonetheless because I like them. Like, look at this. Ugh, I just love it. It's just like so old-fashioned and cute. And these ones are a little bit cringe, but I just, you know, lean into the cringe, I guess. These ones aren't that cringe because it's just flowers, but I don't know. I just like them because they're nostalgic for a time period I never lived in, I guess. Like, look at this one. Look at that one. It's just so vintagey and cute. And this just feels like a romance book. I like it. Maybe I should get this one. What is this? Is this a series? I'm getting it because it's $2.99. I'm trying to find Kingdom of Dreams, and I don't think they have it. I've been looking. Yeah, they definitely don't have it. Nope. The search continues. The romance section here is heavily mass market paperbacks, which, like I said, I like them. I have an affinity for mass market paperback romance books, but a lot of people don't. So I have yet to find a large selection of non-mass market paperback romances yet, but I also haven't looked at those shelves over there. So we'll see how much is actually these ones, or how much is more like kind of modern sized romance books or full-sized. Also, Nora Roberts is really holding it down because her books go from here all the way to here. And this isn't even her J.D. Robb books. Those are probably over in the mysteries. You go, Nora Roberts, you go. We finally found the full-size romance books, and half of the shelf is still the mass market paperbacks. So if you're not into that and you love romance, this store kind of doesn't really have a huge selection, and still like half of them are Nora Roberts and J.D. Robb, which is still Nora Roberts, which is kind of funny. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of selection, but I feel like in other half-price books, I've seen larger romance sections.
Half-price book, customer Alex.
But a lot of half-price books inventory is probably based on who's selling it to them, like what they are purchasing, and maybe they're just not getting sold a lot of romance books. I don't really know how that works, but they definitely have tons of mass market paperbacks, so if you're into that like me, this is absolutely the place. Also, kind of like what I was saying about the movies, you can find a lot of copies of, like, especially the popular stuff. Like here we have an entire shelf dedicated to Game of Thrones books, which typically at half-price books, you can find like a couple copies, like maybe find one, or maybe find like 2 or 3 or 4. But here, there's so many. I don't,
Adult
Anthony,
only.
are these like old, what, I don't get it. Bedroom Bang Bang?
Whoa, chill.
I feel like I just stumped into like vintage erotica section. I think it's also sci-fi though. I think it's just like vintagey little books in general. So this store was amazing. I loved it so much. I feel like I didn't have enough time to actually explore everything and fully appreciate it. It's about to close. But next time I come to Dallas, this is gonna be like a staple. I'm gonna like always wanna come to this half-price books. And it's funny because it's not that different. Like, you know, you have kind of the same similarities you see at a lot of half-price books, but it's just so much bigger. There's also little like intricacies throughout, like a lot of little displays, tables, like I said, for you to sit down and read. And just the sheer amount of books and other things that they have to look at is just really special. This might actually be the largest bookstore that I've ever been in. I was trying to think, are Barnes & Nobles as big? And Anthony says this is bigger than a Barnes & Noble. Book People in Austin, I haven't been there since I was a kid, so I need to go back and like compare, but also I don't know. This is definitely the largest used bookstore I've ever been into. I also did get some stuff. Anthony got the first season of One Punch Man. I found a Marilyn Monroe movie because I really love Marilyn Monroe movies. And I'm feeding my mass market paperback addiction. I found Comanche Moon by Katherine Anderson, the OG cover, which I'm super excited about, even though it's cringe, yes I know, but it's the OG cover and I really wanted it. And Emma Merritt's Lady of Winter, which I thought the back was so vintagey and cute, and it's gonna be going into my little mass market paperback collection.